All right, everyone. Welcome back to Psych Word. You are now on the couch with Rob Gerard. And in the studio right now, live, we have Connecticut musician Klokwize. Hey, man, what's going on?
Bless. Happy to be here. What's up?
Not much, man. Good to have you. Good to have you. And we also have your manager, Matt. How you doing, Matt?
Hey, doing great. Glad to be here. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. So we're just talking to you guys off the air, you know, just kind of kicking it, getting to know each other. Come to find out, man, we know a lot of the same people.
Yeah.
Connecticut's a small state, man.
It's a good thing because if you make a good name for yourself and you do things the right way, it carries over, which is nice, you know?
Yeah, definitely. So it's like, especially being in the music industry like you are, you know, you really need to make sure that no matter what you're doing, it's of high quality.
Exactly.
Because word will get around really quick.
Yeah, that's the good and bad of it. But it's also nice because, like I said, if you put in some good work and you treat people right, you know, a lot of things open fast.
Yeah, definitely. So Diana and I, DJ Chris Rush, we were grooving to your music beforehand. We're grooving on the break.
Yes, we were.
And you really, your style has a unique sound because I wouldn't necessarily call you a rapper. That's why I introduced you as musician.
Yeah.
You know, because you really kind of have this whole hippie / hip hop / sublime / I don't know. I mean, what are some comparisons you get? I mean, you're definitely original.
It's a constant thing of trying to figure out, because nowadays music, as far as in the public, they like to see it in boxes. They like to know what box it's in. You know, is it country? Is it rap? Is it this? Because then people have preconceived notions about what they like or don't like, depending on what box you're talking about, you know? So with this, it was definitely interesting because I grew up just as much of a hip-hop head as like a 90s Sublime 311 head, and then as I got older I got really into like singer-songwriter stuff just because, you know, the craft of really writing songs. So like now I just kind of think I took the foundation that I learned from so many legendary people and I just kind of put my own twist on it, and it's really an homage to like everything, you know, that's general American music, that's great songwriting. So if I had to put a box, I would say I'm a singer-songwriter.
All right. So how long have you been writing for? Were you that dude that was sitting in 8th grade math class scribbling rhymes?
I was, and I had posters, and I was playing bowling alleys, and I already knew for a long time. But you have to let your creativity catch up to you, because I was just a mixtape rapper for many years, and I had a great time with that. But it's just there's a ceiling on what you can do creatively with that audience. You can't take them everywhere you want to go sometimes, you know?
Yeah, definitely. And you're from West Hartford, right?
Yeah, I grew up right in the West End. Yeah.
So you're kind of familiar with that whole Hartford vibe, I would assume. And it's weird because Hartford has their own scene and New Haven has their own very unique scene.
Yes.
And they're really so different. It's almost like you're in two different states.
What's weird is I find on both sides, but like I've never thought in terms of like Connecticut or any towns. I've always kind of thought like, is what we're doing, you know, the highest level, like competing with, you know, every market, LA, New York. Like if I make music that doesn't compete on that level, I don't want to do it. But I find that people in Connecticut are very much like, oh, but the 203 does it like this and the 860 does it like this.
But don't
and
you think that people do that because they're scared to step out of that comfort zone?
That's what I mean, is people should be thinking
It's
like,
gotta be you. I mean,
you know, are you as great as the people that you listen to? And that's what you have to strive for, you know?
exactly. And you got to keep them wanting more. If you're gonna fall, like you said, fall into that box.
Yeah.
After a while, it's just like, yeah, whatever. You came out with a new song. I'm sure I know what it kind of sounds like. You know.
Exactly.
Yep.
But you got to keep people intrigued, and
Yeah.
definitely, I see that.
I
you do
love
that for
all
me.
the scenes, I have to say. And New Haven is really nice to me because I live in Hartford now. As always, that's kind of what I was used to. You know, I've been very like welcomed, and you know, I try to put a lot of work into that community and that music community. But like, I'm actually playing Stella Blues on August 8th, which has always been a home for me out here. And I love the culture of New Haven. You guys have a lot of sophistication. The audience is different for sure.
Yep.
You know, so it's big ups to New Haven for sure.
There's definitely an indie kind of culture. The
Yeah.
bars support it. The bookstores. There's the
Yes.
cigar shops. There's just it's just something very artsy.
The
And-
Noodle House, bro. The Noodle House. I drive out here for that.
Is it? Yeah, I've never been to the
bubble
Noodle
tea.
House.
He knows. My DJ knows.
DJ Chris Rush over there.
Oh, Chris, dude, if you want to know anything about New Haven, Chris Rush, that's the one. Now, Klokwize, let me ask you something. Most people know you from being featured on ESPN's First Take. Now, ESPN, that's not like oh yeah, he was on NBC 30. That's like
Right.
ESPN. That's like
Yeah.
CNN.
Even people like
Yes.
me who don't know the first thing about sports. I mean,
You
come
know
on.
ESPN.
I knew
That's
Seriously.
worldwide. So I mean, tell us about that. Tell us about being on ESPN.
It's crazy, man. 4 singles in 2 years on national and ESPN, which is just wild to me. Like, you know, as a musician, you know what it's like to gracefully like not win everything that you know to sort of fight for as an artist. But it's really nice to have a win like that, to be able to put that on the board, you know. And like, I just have to shout out the music department there, because the whole reason we're on is that they actually are listening to the stuff that comes in. They're not, you know what I mean? Just like going with the easy major label artists that are plugged in over there. Like, there's guys like me or you that love music that are in cubicles there in their whole music department going through records. And like, the way we got on the first one that ever got picked up over there was, there's one intern that kept playing it. And I guess the big program director walked by and he goes, "You keep playing that Round and Round song, so just buy it. Just put it on TV, like whatever." You know what I mean? And then from there, I've just been really, there's nothing I can be but really grateful and excited to have the message getting out that way.
Definitely.
And I have to say that Rob is really excited to have you here, because he didn't even make fun of me for that last comment. Like, I'm waiting for it. I'm like, dude, I just laid it out in front of you and you just ignored it.
It is cool though. Like
what?
I have a bunch of relatives that like in the Midwest that are just like real simple country folk, and they're able to just turn on TV and hear Klokwize, which is like really cool. That's wild to me.
Definitely. And because, you know, you have all these celebrities and musicians, and not to be cliche, but you have guys like Lil Wayne who just, you know, they're always talking about how all they do is watch ESPN. So, you know, their favorite shows are like First Take and, you know, Pardon the Interruption, and it's like, oh, by the way, there's Klokwize being played while all the, you know, all it takes is, you know, hopefully you would think all it takes is that one person, the right person to hear it, scoop you up and say, back up the money truck, right? You would.
I've said that a lot, and you don't necessarily want to like put your eggs in that basket.
Yeah.
But I've honestly thought that many times. Like, isn't Diddy watching Sports Center? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And that's why we shoot the videos for a lot of those too. We have some really cool videos to check out to try and give people the full package in 3 minutes. Like, if they see Klokwize on screen, they type it in. You know, we have like everything laid out for people to sort of get the experience.
Yeah, and you know, how difficult has it been to cross over? Like, really, like to get that kind of recognition? Like,
it's tough to say. I think a lot of it goes into like having a game plan from the start, like having a strategy. Like, I knew I had kind of like hit a wall creatively, for nobody's fault but my own. Just with hip hop, I kind of didn't like where the market was going. I felt less and less connected to what was happening musically in it, and so I was like, all right, I just gotta like burn everything to the ground and try something else, like blow up the box, you know. And like that, you know, Big Matt was a big part of that, who's here in the studio, because this was, you know, man, 3-4 years ago. He was like, dude, if you're gonna do a transition, like, let's try this live band thing. More and more artists are doing that, and we've kind of found a signature way to do it. There's a certain style that the Klokwize, you know, live band has that's not just generic. It's not like The Roots or another band that does that. It's more scrappy and very Connecticut sounding, I think. And so that was the big thing.
Sorry.
no, it's fine. Well, and kind of what you're saying is what I agree with. I have so many people that hit me up on Twitter, and they're like, "Oh, you got to check out my music. Check out this." And they message me and check out this and check out this, and I'm like, I get tired of saying this to people, and even artists that come up here in the studio. I'm like, you are never gonna do what the mainstream hip hop does. You're never gonna be able to do that better than them. So
Right.
don't try to imitate what you hear, because you'll never be able to do it better
You
than
gotta
them.
go the opposite direction.
You really need to find your own lane and do it, because you're not gonna be able to make a Drake song better than Drake.
Right.
As much as you think you might be able to, you're not gonna be able to. So you really need to find your own lane, and listening to your music and getting the vibes. It definitely seems like that's what you've done. And let me ask you something. There's an overall tone with your music, right? It's this tone of like that I hear personally, and it's kind of like a mixture of spirituality and struggle and overcoming adversity. Where do you get that from?
I mean, this show specifically is interesting because you guys shed a lot of light on that, and you speak a lot of truth on that, you know. So I mean, my truth was, you know, definitely dealing with some of those the lifestyle that comes, you know, with addiction and things like that, and it's just the full package of it. How mentally clouded it can make everything, you know what I mean? And my career didn't really jump off in any way. I mean, I was in and out of court. This dude was bailing me out of jail, helping me get lawyers when I was 19, 20 years old. I mean, I didn't have any fighting chance at succeeding at anything until I was able to, like, get out of my own way, you know? And for me, you know, that included drinking and, you know, just the whole party atmosphere. And it was something that I kind of, like, just took a diet from, and then that lasted, and it's been over 4 years now, you know, without a drink, without any kind of craziness. And like,
is there anything in particular, sorry to interrupt, that just kind of opened your eyes and, you know, gave you that like aha moment of, wait a minute, you know?
I saw a lot of people that I had come up with that were going fast, that were shooting off, you know what I mean, as far as in the music scene and everything. There was a lot of people I knew that all of a sudden were like just gaining ground a lot faster than me, and I was like, you try and blame it on anything exterior except what it really is, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, it's my girlfriend, oh, it's I don't have this, I don't have, oh, it's I didn't have the budget I got. And it's like, well, maybe you're not around for the opportunities because you're passed out on the couch, you know what I mean? Like, and so that was the most like simple common denominator, and it was a trade. I mean, the minute I kind of left that behind, and you know, I have a program that works for me, and the minute I was able to leave, you know, like just that whole alcohol scenario behind, was the only then was I able to have any semblance of this like amazing level of success. I can't believe I made it this far.
And you know, it's really difficult too to switch that kind of lifestyle, especially when you're so young, because you always have that age factor to fall back on as an excuse. Like, oh, I'm just young, I'm just having fun. I'm gonna get my stuff together in a few years. You know, let me live my life now. Yeah. So it sounds like what you're saying is, aside from a manager, Matt has also kind of helped you kind of has been a mentor for you as well.
Yeah, Matt's somebody that's just been like part of the magic of this project off and on for many years. And like the new album, I actually did a lot more like production and stuff on it myself, just to be able to see if I could stand on my own too a little bit. And like, you know, it's cool that then I'm able to get back up with Matt and like put these TV things together and do these radio things and have fun, because like he really knows how to expand on it, on what I'm doing creatively. So yeah, it's cool. And I mean, on a personal level, yeah, I mean, absolutely. Like I kind of needed somebody to look me in the eyes and tell me the stuff that, you know, not be a yes person. Yep. You know, so it's nice.
And I don't think he'll have a problem with me saying this, but I remember a conversation we had in my driveway a number of years ago, and he was feeling real stuck. Yeah. And, you know, feeling like he was seeing these people moving up, and he knew he was drinking a little too much, and at that time I had some sobriety under my belt, and I just remember telling him, you know, don't give up, man, just give yourself a chance. Put the drink down for a minute, see what happens. It took him a minute to figure it out, but once he did, and then started seeing the results. And we also had one other mantra that started that day, which was just do one thing a day towards your career, towards your goals. And that hasn't changed, and he does more than one thing, you know. But one thing he hasn't done is pick up that alcohol, and it's shown that, you know, he's just a happy guy, man.
It's funny because I get that a lot out of the music too, is people think I'm like such a like positive guy, and I'm like, I've never thought about it as having a positive message. It's just like, I'm happy to be here, I'm happy to be in a studio, I'm happy to have retail records out, you know what I mean? That's like more than I expected for myself, you know what I mean? So it's just a matter of being a survivor, and like we're all survivors in our lives in different ways, and we all surprise ourselves, you know, by the growth that we can go through, and sometimes it takes pain to grow. That's how human beings are, you know. That's
very powerful, and you know, that's a positive message put out there. Like, don't give up. I'm sure there are a lot of people who are kind of stuck in that lifestyle with addiction, and just probably have lost all hope, you know. And it's good to hear and to see success stories such as yourself, you know, and to have people like Matt who stick by your side, you know. Matt, I have a question for you. What was it specifically that made you stick around, you know, and just what did you see in him that just kind of kept you going? Because I mean, for me, I would say after a while, like, listen, dude, you know what, you got to make the change. I can't do it for you. I can only support you for so long. But there had to be something about him that just kind of sparked something in you. What was that?
You know, I guess, you know, I just saw myself as a young guy. I mean, without the talent, obviously. He has the talent. But
You have talent.
But no, I mean, there wasn't. I guess the first mixtape he gave me, this was the thing. I didn't love the beats. They sounded real generic to what I've heard. But lyrically, here was a 19, 20-year-old, and I related to lyrics as a early 40s. I was in my early mid 40s when I first heard him, and for a kid that age to be able to connect with a guy my age lyrically, I knew something deeper was going on because I'd been through a lot by that time already. So it was just there was something there. That was the connection, and that's never changed. I always had belief in him just based on that.
Now, I have a Twitter question from Ray Love. He wants to know, what's the name of your album that's out available right now?
It's out right now, and thank you for letting me plug that, Mr. Ray. Shout out, bro. It is The Art of Falling Apart.
The Art of Falling Apart, okay.
Yep, and it's out right now everywhere you go, like iTunes, Spotify, Amazon. I also have it streamable for free on SoundCloud. It's just Klokwize, anywhere you go to find music. Klokwize. It's as wrong as you can spell it. And
That proves he's a rapper
please
right
tweet
there.
me.
That proves he's a rapper.
I want all your feedback. Please tweet me. And if you like it, I mean, even if you pick and choose the songs that connect to you personally, it does make a big difference if somebody drops the 99 cents on the retail version, because that's charting. That's at the bottom of the Billboard, the way bottom. Right?
It is it charting?
But it charts. It's like if you get it in a retail sense, there's charts for that. It's on Nielsen, SoundScan, and stuff. So it's probably a small fraction. It's not gonna do what the Lil Wayne single is gonna do. But it helps, especially if you're a New England person. You're helping New England people start to pop the scene open a little bit.
Yep. Now, what's your Twitter and Facebook? It's just Klokwize?
At Klokwize, Klokwize. Yep, Instagram too.
All right, so what do you have coming up in the next 12 months?
We are going to hit some shows. We're doing Brooklyn August 1st, and then we're going to be right here in New Haven on August 8th, and then we're hitting Hartford right after that. So, I mean, I'm setting up some nice tri-state stuff with some acts that I really like Glitchmouth, who are from, they do like a Brooklyn, Hartford back and forth, and they're like a really alternative hip-hop act, so I'm hitting a couple of those dates with them. And then, I mean, I would like to do more scoring. I really like working in TV and doing songwriting for people, and I've been kind of expanding my songwriting credits to maybe write for other people and, find some, you got to take an ear break in between albums. This album is, just out, so I have to find some, ways to breathe.
Definitely.
I like that, take an ear break.
Yeah.
Take an ear break. You need a mouth break sometimes.
Oh!
Just sometimes. Not every once in a while.
You know what? That's it. It's all you now. Go ahead. See you next week.
So Klokwize, what do you do when you hit that? You must hit that mental block sometimes, right? You get writer's block. Mm-hmm. What is it you do? Where do you go to get that kind of inspiration to try to get re-energized?
You know what's tough is you can't fit a square peg in a round hole. So sometimes you'll have half a song and it's just not gonna finish itself. And you know what I mean? Same thing. You can't bleed a stone. If it takes you too long to write a song, if it's too hard to make it work, then it's probably not the right song anyway. Most of the best songs, I think Jay has some comment about that, how he writes the best songs he writes come out in 5 minutes. And I find that's true. They'll just flow, the catchphrase will hit you, and the rest will is just fall into place. And but yeah, if I can't find that stuff, that's what I mean about, I definitely take a year or two between albums, because you want your legacy. Right now, my discography is something that I don't have any problems with. I don't have any holes in it. I really feel every record in that is, as perfect as I could have made it at the time. And so I think some people kind of rush material out too fast and they don't give it the justice. I'm going to work these 13 songs for a year or two, just because as an indie artist, you get them to less people per thing than you do as Drake puts out a song, you know what I mean? And everyone gets it at the same time. When you're an indie artist, you go this, radio to radio.
It's always going to be new to someone.
Exactly. So that's the main thing is I try not to rush to songwriting. I mean, I did 2 albums in 3 years? Mm-hmm. 2 albums in 2 years.
And an EP. So.
Yeah. So 3 records in 2-3 years, but it's it's got to be organic. And I just think more people should take more time with the songwriting craft and then stand by them longer.
Absolutely. Well, I want to thank you very much, Klokwize, for coming in the studio with us.
I can't believe that went so fast. This is awesome. I appreciate it, man. This
Absolutely,
is great.
man. It was a good time, man. Definitely a good time. And Matt, thank you very much for coming up as well. It was
Thank
great
you.
connecting with you guys. Hopefully we'll be able to have you back in the studio again.
Absolutely. Bless you guys. And thank
UNH,
you guys for
we love
listening.
your-
Can I say one thing? I got it my Twitter
Yes.
shout-outs.
Yes.
So we got Super D Prod, Mike Hall, Splat 860, Mark Browning. I got all sorts of awesome Twitter shouts. Concept King, Michael Stephen May, who did my album cover, Sarah Jane Dufort, Joe Castro. Thanks everybody for live tweeting and tuning in. Wise World, thank you.
That was good. That was good.
And we will also post your information up online, so go to psychword.com and you can get all of Klokwize's information.
Definitely. But yeah, it was definitely a good interview.
Yes.
Great
amazing.
interview.
Sorry if I overspoke.
No, come on.
You know,
Yeah, she's good, right?
you can come back. I think next time I'm co-hosting with Klokwize.
Yeah, you let Matt talk. Good job.
Yeah, I think next time, I'll just sit this one out. You and Klokwize could do the show. But yeah, so this is it. An end to another Friday, another show. We need to